Hello, back once again with one of these random little videos that I sometimes feel like making. Trying out a new lens, different lens from last time, different lighting options and stuff. See how it goes. So the last video I made in this style was about how I started the Stavanger Filmmakers Club, but I didn't go too much into why I made it. I did kind of explain that a friend and I were talking one evening and then decided that in another life we might be indie filmmakers, and then we wanted to do it anyway and just researched how to do it. But we're not the first pair of people to have had that kind of conversation one evening, and then just most people never take it to the next step, I suppose. I had kind of further impetus to do so for reasons that I'm going to explain in this video. Content warning though, if you're not in the mood for like grief and death and all that kind of miserable stuff that we go through in life, go do something else. I mean, you're on YouTube, go watch some cool stuff like some toy unboxing or like fails or something. There's so much nicer, more wholesome content you could be consuming than what I'm about to talk about, but I obviously think it has value or I wouldn't be making this video, so stay on if you want to hear about that. So I got inspired to make this video after I was helping somebody with one of their theatre projects, and I was giving some creative ideas and they got very excited, and then I went, oh, it's too easy, which was like exactly in the style of my dad. That's exactly what he would have done. And that was really nice because it's because of my dad that I started the filmmaking club. That's my personal stake in this thing. And so it felt like I was embodying him in a way, in the way that I was encouraging somebody else and being very positive and in a creative way, bringing people together and making them feel special. All those are things that my dad really excelled at. As you can tell, I'm talking about him in the past tense because he passed away in October 2018 very suddenly. And so I conceived of the filmmaking club and this new like creative venture as like a legacy or an homage to him, or whatever you would call it. Because like I say, he worked in advertising and he had a ton of friends and he was the life of the party, and he really inspired people, and I guess I felt like I wanted to do that in his honor. Or rather, that's what it turns out I have been doing. I think the impulse is much deeper and less easily articulated when you first have this idea. But that's what turns out that I am doing, and that turns out to be the reason why I started this club, so that's really lovely. I guess there's just a little bit more to say about that. Like, I'd already been writing for a long time, and that's why I've managed to make films, you know, with narratives and stuff, I guess a bit faster than other people who start just from zero. I'd been writing for about 8 years before I started this club, and the reason I started writing is because I lost my mother when I was 22, and she was an English teacher, and she was a lover of language. She loved Shakespeare so much, and it felt like I guess I had that same kind of deep impulse to pursue something that was really an homage to her, in that case language and stories and all the things that she loved and the passions that she passed on to other people. And also apparently my dad and mum would talk about, my mum used to consume all these crime thrillers all the time, and they used to talk about, what if you did a story like this and so on, and my mum never really got around to doing it, but she was like a voracious reader and a lover of language and a very clever woman. I'm sure she would have done that amazingly, but she never did it. And so I think when, like as a child of anyone, you do kind of look at what your parents did well and what they missed out on, and then you know, consciously or unconsciously adopt the parts that you like and some of the bits you don't, and try and do a better job next time. So that's really what I'm doing. Why is it important to me that you know this? Well, the arts have this very strange and counterintuitive competitive element to them. I certainly don't contribute to that. I certainly don't think it needs to be there, but I don't see it going away either. And so sometimes when you're making stuff, you encounter a little bit of hostility because people are like, oh, why do you think you can do this if I can't do this, and so on. And so this is why I think I can do this and you perhaps haven't done this, is because I had these huge life-changing events happen to me that made me start creating in ways that other people might have just, if they didn't have such strong impulses or such strong reasons to do so, might just not have done it. That's fine. I mean, if you have more loved ones than I do, but you create less than I do, you might be winning, you know? Not that you can win. But it's also like losing people has erased so many barriers from this that I see other people going through, like caring what anyone thinks. I don't care what anyone thinks about anything I make in the same way that other people do. I wouldn't call it an advantage, but my parents will never see anything that I make. That certainly takes a lot of pressure off. It's not that I would do anything that would disappoint them, but I don't have to worry about them reading it the wrong way or reading into it in a weird way. I can just make whatever the hell I want, and that's nice. But also, having lost two amazing people, I mean, you always feel like you lose people before their time, right? You always have more fun to have with them if you love them very much. But the universe certainly doesn't care about that. It takes people, you know, well before the time you would have awarded them, for seemingly no reason. And what would I say about that? What is there to say about that, really? The way I've come to interpret it is that, you know, being alive is like the base requirement for any other success or anything else you want to achieve in life. You have to be alive to do it. And so therefore the most important thing in life must be staying alive, and we can't control that. And we might lose so much more time than we expected to have, that we deserve to have. If there's no logic to that, there must be very little logic to everything else going on in life, you know? Like how successful or how unsuccessful we are as people. Having lost people and you just kind of feel like, wow, we're so less in control of what is going on than we feel like. And that's terrifying at first, especially when all you want to do is grieve and you have to consider that. But when you come out the other side of it, and I very much feel like I have, then it's a deeply kind of peaceful lesson to learn. All you're left with is like, okay, if none of this makes sense, and I have evidence that it doesn't make sense, then I'm just left with, I'm just gonna do what makes me happy then, and be thankful that it makes me happy in the time that I do it. Literally, like end of list. I know that like as a writer and as a filmmaker, so on, there are like enormous levels you can go to, huge achievements and huge amounts of money and huge cool things and explosions and shit. I don't care. I just want to have fun. And so that's kind of the answer that I can't give these people who want to be in competition with me, or who would want to see me not succeed, really. It's like, why does it matter? Why does it matter? I want you to succeed, whoever you are watching this. It doesn't bother me at all. The only thing that bothers me is if you know, the only thing that affects me is the net, like, some amount of fun and joy and success people are having. I want that to be as big as possible. That's it. That's literally it. I wish that's what everyone thought. I have this unique reason for having reached this conclusion, of course. And And of course, one final message about this particular topic is that I lost my dad in October 2018. It's October 2020 now. Never thought, I mean, there were huge stretches of time that I never thought I would be, I don't know, stable enough to make a video with a positive message. Have joy in my life again. Like, and I do. And it's tough because I'm not the first person to have pointed that out, that you can come out the other side of tragedy and still find so many things to enjoy about life. And definitely I feel like that's what I owe to my parents as well. My God, they made me, they poured so much energy into me. Don't I, you know, if I want to honor them, shouldn't I just flourish? But you know, when you're in the midst of grief and it's like endlessly painful for day after day after day after day. Look, still here, having a great time, it's fine. Can make it out the other end of it. We're all more resilient than we know, and that's lovely, but it's very painful. Yeah, it just feels like it'll never end, because it doesn't for a really long time, and you've got no reason to feel like that you'll ever feel good again. But like I say, I'm not the first person to have made a video pointing out that you can be good again afterwards. So I don't have high expectations that hearing me say that will make it easier for anyone, because nothing about it is very easy. But you know, if there's a slight possibility that it does help somebody, then that's what I want to say. It's like, look at me. Worse things have happened to other people, for one. Secondly, like, oh my God, you can bounce back from the worst mental states in ways you wouldn't believe. Sure, I'm on medication, I'm in therapy, I'm doing what it takes to make sure that I feel okay, and I'm not there yet, but I'm way further than I thought I would be. And it turns out that, you know, if you're currently in the midst of one of these fortunately rare events in life where something horrible has happened and you're in like so much pain for a really long time, and you're going, my God, I really don't deserve this. How could I possibly deserve this? How can it be? How can this be happening to me? You're asking yourself all these questions, and it just seems so unbelievably unfair. And you always knew that life was unfair, but my God, like, this is just too much, right? I'm gonna unfortunately say that that's like a normal experience in life. I don't know how to avoid times in life when that's like the overarching theme. It's horrendous. But you're not alone. I was not alone. And I used to love feeling very special, so I avoided the lesson that you're not alone. But now I love the lesson that you're not alone. You're not alone at all. Things aren't working out for you. Yeah, you probably don't deserve it. Ridiculous things happen to people that they don't deserve all the time. And it sucks, but I don't see a way out of it. But once you accept it, it's just like, hey, aren't we all kind of closer together, you know? I feel so much more empathy for other people, because even if they haven't gone through what I've gone through, they're gonna one day. Like, how do you avoid it happening at all? You don't. And it's like, sorry to hammer this home, but it's like worse than any vengeance you could possibly wish on someone. So I mean, all that goes away. You don't feel the need to make anyone see the error of their ways or anything, because like the universe will take care of that. You can just focus on the very minor amount of things that you can control, and enjoy those and pass on that enjoyment, and that's so powerful. But what do I know? I mean, these experiences have taught me that I really know very little. So if none of this makes sense to you, if you have a different view, you might be right, or we might be equally wrong. Nobody knows what's going on, but it's okay. You can still enjoy life. Cheers, bye!